Hey, you geeks! In just 2 interludes, Sanderson drops revelation after revelation, and I can't handle this.
You can't handle the truth!
He's snuffed out some old theories, and I think given life to some new ones. Full spoilers for all tour-release Cosmere content, including especially Elantris this video, and also Part 3 of the Brothers Karamazov. As always, I love interacting with you guys' comments on this channel, so let me know what you think of my thoughts, and maybe you'll get a shout out in an upcoming video. Heraldry. We only get a moment of Kalak alone, a glimpse into his inner monologue for a few lines. Yet this glimpse, I think, helps bridge that gap between Kalak, the man who implicitly ordered the death of Kaladin's men, to Kalak, the shriveling accountant who could barely bring himself to face Shallan. Though this Kalak also was rather nonplussed at the idea of ordering Adolin's execution should the honor sprint demand it. If there's one thing Sanderson works have taught me, it's never underestimate an accountant. With the radiance gone, Kalak appears relieved. He checked the locks 3 times, then sighed, closing his eyes. The radiance were gone. He'd survived so many things, but this escape felt narrower than the others. He couldn't help thinking that the payment for his frighteningly long life was coming due. Note his relief at the absence of radiance, not the absence of ghost bloods, though it is the radiance of Shallan and her companions that have shown him every courtesy and welcomed him to come to Urithiru if he so chose. Yet, Kalak is acting as if going there would be a death sentence. Now, it's not a question of if he knows something that I don't know. Rather, the question is, what among the myriad of things that Kalak knows, which I don't, is particularly relevant to him thinking the Radiants want him dead? Moreover, what is his deal with Ishar, which makes him think that Ishar is protecting him? These days, he felt only panic, indecision, and a crushing darkness. Always nearby, always threatening him. Without Ishar holding some of it back, it would have destroyed him long ago. We've had on-page confirmation that Nail has spoken to Ishar in the modern era, and in the modern era, we've seen Kalak hanging out with Nail, but this is the first time that Kalak has indicated he has spoken to Ishar since Aharietya. This seems important because Kalak wasn't there at the original Aharietiam when Ishar gave his pitch that the Heralds abandoned the Oath Pact. Instead, he had to get it second-hand from Yezrien. It has been decided, Kalak. We will go our ways, and we will not seek one another out. Our blades must be left. The Oath Pact ends now. Is Ishar's promise to Kalak that he is going to hold some of the Herald's insanity at bay just ravings of another madman, or is this actually happening, which ensures that when Kaladin goes to face Ishar in Shinovar, he will face the craziest of them all?
I'm invincible! You're a loony.
I just finished an Elantris reread, so bear with me as I compare the Heralds to Sheor's men, the last, strongest, and most brutal of the Elantrian gangs defeated by Raoden. Like the Heralds, the Sheor's men's brutality is what shaped the living hellscape that was Elantris or Roshar, respectively. Now, Raoden, like Kaladin seems to be set out to doing, intended to heal them by appealing to their humanity. Raoden, not being clinically trained in psychology, was unsuccessful and merely succeeded because he was able to unseat their god of Sheor herself and proving himself to be superior because he could control fire and cook. Now that Kaladin has gone out of his way to develop psychological practices on Roshar, I wonder if we are definitely going to be seeing a more nuanced conversation of this. But will Kaladin unseat Ishar as the ruler of these mad heralds, or will it only be done with words? It seems to me that the epigraphs alluding to the other duel of the champions in Shinovar indicates that Kaladin is going to have to cross blades with Ishar at some point, though whether the ending be death or conversion, who's to say? Not the Contra. Is Wind and Truth to be the book where we learn that all the world hoppers on the Roshar have ulterior motives?
What are you doing in England?
Mind your own business!
Who would want to come to, as Wit calls it, a planet full of slime unless they had urgent business to attend to. Unfortunately, that urgent business seems to be opposed to all of the goals of Team Radiance thus far. Once Kalak retreats to the safety of his study, the curtains attack and it is revealed that Felt and Aelay have been Ghostblood compliant all along. I've already relayed the information on Mishram's location to Iatil, and Lord Kelsier, Felt said, I don't work for that masked witch. Him as well, Aelay said, obviously. Maybe it's because Mistborn Era 1 isn't my favorite of Sanderson's works, but I really hadn't given much thought to Felt's presence on Roshar. Though, checking the Coppermind, it doesn't look like the greater Sanderson did either. However, hoided through the grapevine, great username by the way, managed to ask Sanderson the right question all the way back at a Skyward release party. Is Felt an agent of Harmony? If not, is he a member of a secret society that we have seen? Felt's allegiance has changed at various times during, we'll just say that. His allegiance has changed over the years. There are times he's been a rogue agent. There was also Curador, who asked if Felt was a member of the 17th Shard, to which Sanderson gave another cagey answer. I have not seen anyone theorize that Felt was a full-on Ghostblood to this point. Maybe there have been some theories that he was the Kandra because of his Scadrian heritage. However, we can knock that one off the list because Felt awakened the curtains. And in order to use another Shard's investiture like breath, you can't be a Kandra. Holding a large amount of breath would also explain why Felt has aged so remarkably well since Mistborn Era 1, that is hundreds of years before the events of Roshar. The Felt reveal is a great twist that I did not see coming, yet it completely blows my mind for all the right reasons as it makes the worlds a more cohesive and connected place. Aelay's complicity in the Ghostbloods, however...
Okay, now it's personal.
I had theorized that Aelay was acquired by the Ghostbloods from a Derethi Gjorn. The secrecy, the metal box, the timidity on account of abuse all pointed to that conclusion, supported by my bias and premise that a sliver of devotion couldn't be opposed to my favorite characters. But that's the thing and beauty and terror of Sanderson. No character is a villain in their own minds. The hunt quickens. I don't think this is the last we will see of Kalak. He's currently in Ghostblood custody, and there is a promise of further investigations to occur. I think we will wait to make sure the mission goes as planned. Mraize and the Yatil might contact us for more explanations. So we sit tight, keep this one company, and bide our time. Only a fool assumes they know everything, and Kalak might yet have a part to play. I hope that Kalak is our repetitive interlude character for each book, just as Zeth was in book 1, Eshonai in book 2, Venli for book 3, Taravangian for book 4, and I hope it's Kalak and not Odium again, because that feels like cheating. Also, Kalak provides interesting background information that could go to Kaladin's plot, while also Shallan's quest, whereas Odium is all about the Dalinar life. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 11:11. Last week, one of you wonderful viewers commented that you believed Taravangian would still have his epic mood swings between empathy and intelligence on a daily basis. Little did either of us know that such relevant information would be up and coming this week. So, to answer the question, does Taravangian still have swings?
Good guess, but actually no.
I think a picture is worth 1,000 words here. And Ben McSweeney's character icon for Taravangian has now changed. It used to be one hand holding a sword and one hand holding a rather vine-like cane. Whichever one was up indicated if he was intelligent or empathetic. Now, the cane is gone and both hands hold the sword. This probably indicates that he is free of cultivation's influence, but not free of being a man of extremes. As the newly minted Odium himself explains, "I have infinite capacity," Odium whispered, his voice ragged. "I can see to the ends of the Cosmere. I can see the lives of people, great and small. I had thought this wonderful, with so much experience, but now I find only suffering. Infinite capacity to see, infinite capacity to feel, infinite capacity for agony." It appears that cultivation's gift, now gone, had been to let him experience those extremes, though in somewhat controlled circumstances. A day of infinite intelligence, and eventually a day of infinite empathy, with stops along the way on different points on the pendulum. Now that Taravangian has ascended to shardhood, he is either always flipping between those two extremes, or is in between those two extremes at any given moment. It's kind of hard to explain this in temporal terms, because on a certain level, Taravangian and cultivation are outside the bounds of time, space, and reality. So I think it's safe to say that day-to-day part of the flipping is gone, making Taravangian all the more terrifying. He could see all the permutations of time, as well as attempts by other shards like himself to do this very thing. He still views himself as a man divided, a man pulled between two extremes, going to 11 in both directions, and he is somehow struggling to unite this division in the only way he knows, which is to save the Cosmere. I am terrified. Suspicion. I've been growing over the past few months suspicious that Taravangian's type of villainy is the same type held by Ivan Karamazov's High Inquisitor.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
For those of you unfamiliar with the Russian classic, I highly recommend reading it, but don't read it in winter. Sorry about the timing. The High Inquisitor himself is a character of a story told within the story of the Brothers K, and is there to illustrate a very particular savior complex of the world. For the High Inquisitor believes he will save the world by acting thusly. That we take all these sins upon ourselves, for we so love the world that we are even willing to sacrifice our souls for its satisfaction, and all will be happy, all except the 1,000,000 of their rulers. For it is but we the keepers of the great mystery, who will be miserable. Those who have taken upon themselves the curse of knowledge of good and evil. And over the course of Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, Taravangian has echoed those very sentiments, along with his last words to Dalinar in the flesh being, "You always said that to be king was to accept pain. To accept that you must do what others cannot," Taravangian agreed, "to bear the agonies of the decisions you had to make, so that others may live pure lives." Taravangian's plan to save Roshar and the Cosmere is to take away people's ability to make the tough decisions. Rather, he will take them himself and let them do as they will within his reason. A plan so outrageous that not even wily cultivation agrees to it. People must be allowed choice. There is a spectrum of choice that can be allowed, he said. No society can persist with complete freedom, and growth can happen within limits. I can make it so that free will exists to an acceptable degree while also preventing famines. So yes, it's easy to see how Taravangian views himself as the hero, but I also see that Taravangian has fallen victim to one of the classic plunders of great villainy centuries old. Now, it is also fitting with the Brothers K homages in the background that he makes this declaration while holding the body of a dying child, as Ivan Karamazov, the author in story of the High Inquisitor, justifies that free will is untenable because of the death of such innocent children. Now, we shall see if Sanderson continues the homage and literary theft like Alyosha, Ivan's brother, who solved the riddle of the High Inquisitor by giving his adversary a kiss. Even if so, it won't be complete literary theft because Sanderson and Karamazov have different opinions on atheists, to say the least. Also diverging, I can't see Dalinar resolving the duel at this time with an embrace that he promised Taravangian back in book 4, because he's not going to just fold his protection of people's ability to choose what is right without limitations. Rather, I think that would be a book 10 sort of thing if it ever happens. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Battle lines. The relatively brief alliance of Cultivation and Odium has come to a rather abrupt end, with Odium telling Cultivation to get the heck out of Dodge. Cultivation did, stalking away and vanishing, leaving him with the knowledge that she would work against him. She had already been planning to do so, pulling on threads for millennia to get what she wanted. With the absolute boatload of revelations dropped in these past few pages, I almost wondered if Sanderson was just going to flip tables and kill Cultivation right there. But with Vin as an example of what happens when shards directly attack other shards, it seems like in order to do that, you have to physically sacrifice yourself, and Taravangian is not one to do that sort of sacrifice. I still don't think cultivation is gonna last this book. After all of her workings with Lift, she may be following in the example of honor and preservation before him, choosing an heir, not a partner. Let me know your thoughts on this as well down below, along with whatever you want to tell me. Please like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye!